In this video, we're going to talk about having a secure server, especially for Linux, and how you could use Honeypot to protect your server. The technique we're going to use today just wastes the hackers' time that are running automatic scripts of brute force attacks. There are many scripts out there that connect to random Linux servers, and they try to log into the root user by using a word list of popular passwords, and it just runs the brute force attack over and over. So for example, we have this Ubuntu server here, and then let's say a hacker runs this right here command, which basically tries to log in root into your user. Again, this would usually all be done automatically, but let's see this brute force attack and let's see what it happens after it runs. So we see that the hacker does get for your IP address for this login for user root the password Linux, and this is a problem because now they have full access and root access specifically to your server, and they can do whatever they want. So if they run this command right here, type in the password that they got, now they're inside your machine, they can do whatever they want. So let's say they want to go to your desktop, they can simply go home ls here user cd kazur cd desktop, and now they can do ls and see, oh, photos that the world isn't ready for. Well, now they'll be able to have it. And if they really want to be mean, they could write a text file called hacked.txt, and then since they're kind of really mean hackers, they could say l plus ratio, and then they just exit and get out of your server. And then if we go back on our server and we do an ls, we see that their message is left for us, and then when we read it, so we'll see that, oh, whatever they wrote is left there. So again, this is a problem. We definitely don't want this happening, and there is many good ways to protect this, like through if tables, but instead we're gonna do a pretty funny way that's just gonna waste the hacker's time, and we'll be doing this through Honeypot. So honeypots have many good features and are very often used to protect, to secure a server. It's basically just some low-hanging fruit that attracts hackers and makes them attack this server, what they think is a server, SSH server, but really is just bait and there's nothing there. And there are many different types of honeypots. Some are just distractions to keep the hacker away from the actual server or actual SSH. And others actually collect information on the hacker while the hacker's trying to hack into the server. And this is very often used by the government, and they go after the cyber criminal after finding out all the information about them. And I'm going to show you today a technique that'll trap the hacker by making the server request banner when or just keep getting very slow banner. And if the hacker isn't paying attention, their script could be running trying to get into your thing for hours, days, or even weeks until they manually undo the script and restart it. And this is sometimes called an SSH tar pit because the hacker's script gets stuck and can't get out on its own. So the hacker has to manually restart the script. So now we'll finally want to actually install the Endless SSH, and we'll do that through a Git repository. So do git clone https://github.com/keto and then endless ssh, and it'll clone it to you. You next want to do go inside the file, and then you want to do make. If you run into an error, just run the command sudo apt install and then build-essential, and it'll install all the stuff that you need to run the files. After you make it, you'd want to move the bin into the bin file, so you do sudo move, if I can type, endless ssh/user local bin, and next, just to make sure that it's there, let's do which and endless ssh, and we'll see that it is located in our correct file. Next, we want to copy some files, so the sudo cp util endless ssh dot service to etc slash systemd slash system. Perfect. And then we'd want to enable it to run in the background. So you do system control enable endless ssh. Perfect. That means it was all well. So first we're going to want to change our port for the SSH. It's defaulted to port 22, but it's a bad idea to leave it there because that's the first place hackers are going to go to, and it's fairly easy to change, so there's no reason not to. So first we're going to want to edit this file right here, the config file for your SSH, and we see right there on the line it's commented out port 22. We want to comment that out and write a different port. So for example, port 2244, and that's really all you have to change. Let's quit. Next we're going to want to add that port to our firewall. So on Ubuntu you do sudo ufw allow 2244 and then the type of connection, which will be TCP. It'll say restart. Got it. Then you want to do sudo systems control restart, and you're restarting your SSH. Now you want to confirm to see if your SSH is running, so let's do a netstat dash tool pn, this line right here, grep, and then the port. And we see that that port is running, so we've successfully changed our SSH port. So now we're going to want to change the port to port 22 for the endless SSH, since that's the first place hackers would go. So we want to edit this text file right here, systemd slash system slash endless ssh.service, and just follow these commands right here. So first let's just copy this so we don't have to type it all out later. Then we'd want to uncomment this part and comment out this part, and that's about all we have to do. So let's write it out and quit. After that we will do sudo first because this is a sudo command, and then paste, and if that saves, that means all went well. So now we're gonna have to make a directory for the config file. So sudo make directory -p etc endless ssh, and then inside this we're gonna want to do sudo text edit, and we're creating a new file that's a config file, endless ssh, and then config. Alright, once we're inside here, all we have to type is just port 22 because that's the port we will be using. Save and quit. Then we'll want to start up our endless SSH system. So sudo systemctl control start endless SSH. Oh yeah, before that we're gonna want to do systemctl daemon because we changed some port files, I think. Since I forgot to do sudo, made me do a password. And now once again we'll want to start up our SSH server. Oh wait, it's already running. Let's just restart it for good measure. Perfect. So let's say our hacker returns and he wants to troll you even harder this time. So they'll run the brute force command and they'll be waiting, and notice that it's taking an unreasonably long time to run through everything. And remember, in a real world scenario, this will be a script that's checking random servers, and if the hacker isn't paying attention, which they're probably constantly not, to their automatic script, this will just be going over and over, and it'll keep receiving banner from your server while not being able to connect, just wasting time. So for example, if we want to, let's say the hacker remembers, he goes secure shell root, and he says, oh yeah, now let's log into this person 2.13. You'll see nothing is happening. It's not prompting for a password, it is literally just sitting there. And if you want to see specifically what's happening, we type in triple V right there like that, and he wants to see what's going on. and as you can see, there's nothing happening, and it's because this banner it's receiving is extremely slow, and it does this on purpose. So as we see, we received the first one here, and they're going to come out once every 30 seconds for the whole time until the hacker realizes that something went wrong and he manually exits the script and does something else. Now again, this is not a very good technique to use on its own. It's funny, it's fun, and the thought of some hacker who's just getting into it, trying to break into people's server, wasting a bunch of their time on this really easy to set up method kind of brings joy to me. But if they're smarter, they can simply just find out what port you're actually using, then type in hydra-s and look for your port specifically, and it'll say attacking. So this time it actually connected through, and you'll see that it got the password again because it found the actual port. And after that, of course, they can simply just SSH root and then just type in the port. Prompt me for password, got your password. I'm back in, and then they're gonna, as you know, create another text file called "You're Getting Trolled Harder" this time. So that's why you would want to use more than just honeypot. You'd want to do ipconfigs and maybe some other methods, but this is just a really good introduction to honeypot and a way that you can set up on your own server to stop at least the basic scripts from being able to hack into your server. And that's about it for the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, go protect your servers.